Hi everyone, this is Jed Schlackman. In this video I'll be speaking about metaphysics and manifestation and how we can understand and apply metaphysical principles or spiritual laws as we seek to foster change or transformation either in our own personal lives or in the society or community around us. When we come to some awareness or some focus of seeking change or desiring to transform, it's often as a result or consequence of encountering some challenge or perceived problem in our life or in our environment. Let's use a simple example of you're concerned about your health. You're noticing that you're overweight, that you lack energy and vitality, that you're not really performing as well as you'd like to mentally or physically. So in that case, the challenge is that you're not really as healthy as you'd like to be, and you may have some unhealthy habits that are helping create that situation. When you come to that focus of your attention, you might have some emotion attached to that. So you might be feeling some lack of self-worth. You might be feeling critical about yourself, that you've let yourself get into that state. You also might be feeling some anxiety about yourself, about how other people might perceive you. So there may be some negative emotions that are attached to what you're perceiving as a challenge or problem. So what can sometimes happen is when we focus our attention or awareness toward a particular issue, it brings up some unpleasant emotional feelings, and we kind of get stuck in that state or that emotional reaction where we're not feeling so great about whatever that issue is. We might be angry about something, we might be anxious about something, we might be feeling sad or depressed about a particular circumstance. So this is kind of a tricky situation because we want to change things, we want to in some way improve our life or our circumstances. But when we're focusing our attention toward that particular issue, we're actually bringing ourselves into an emotional state that lowers our energy or vibration. It kind of brings us down. So it's hard to create positive change when you're in that type of low vibration energy state. There's a saying where your attention goes, your energy flows. So when we have our attention on a particular issue, our energy is flowing toward that, but that's influenced by the emotional state. So we could be actually contributing further energy toward the problem per se rather than the solution. We could be adding energy or frequency to something that's already undesirable from our perspective. So if we just focus the attention toward that issue and remain stuck in that emotional reaction to that and don't expand our consciousness toward bringing clarity or developing some plan or understanding of what we would like to move toward, what we can apply in our life to create a more desirable circumstance, then we tend to get stuck in kind of a negative loop where we're continuing to manifest the same undesirable states, the same undesirable circumstances. So one initial step in change or transformation can be focusing our attention toward what a particular issue or concern is. So if we don't recognize that there is something that we'd like to shift or change, then we haven't even taken the first step on our journey. We won't be able to do anything about that particular issue. But then once we are conscious of a concern or issue where the current state of affairs is not desirable, and we would like to create or manifest something more positive or more desirable from our perspective, then we need to get through and beyond that emotional reaction. So we kind of need to make peace with what's present for the time being, rather than feeling in some way bad about it or judging ourselves or others for whatever the current circumstance may be. We can accept that that reality is the current reality, and that we have an opportunity now to explore how we can create something different. So it's a time to start educating yourself, to consider different alternatives, different potential solutions, so you can gather the information and identify what would be a valid and constructive course of action to take to proceed in order to manifest something that would be truly desirable. So that's a time period to educate yourself, to get the resources that you might need to proceed with what you're planning or hoping to co-create. So this is an important nuance to understand, since where our attention goes, our energy flows. We don't want our attention to remain stuck in the challenge or problem or in the current state of affairs. So we want to release our resistance to it, our judgment toward it, and so on. And we also want to start looking toward what are positive potentials that we could create. So to trust that change is inevitable, things don't have to stay the way they are, and to see what we personally can start to do to shift in the direction we desire to go in. So at that point, it's really about bringing our energy into the vision of what we want to create, and also into whatever actions we'll start to take. So we want to have some inertia or momentum in the direction that we want to go in. So we want to start getting our energy flowing in that way. So you could find some small steps to begin with, some things that will get you moving in that positive or desirable direction, and to start feeling good about taking those steps. So to build some positive emotions that will help further feed into and amplify those efforts or intentions. Our emotions are very powerful, and they really help with this creative process. So if we're feeling enthusiastic and excited about something that we're aspiring towards, then we're building energy toward the manifestation of that. However, if our attention is still looking back towards something that's bothering or disturbing us, and we're feeling some frustration or resentment, some disappointment or anger toward that, then our energy is actually being drawn in that direction. So let's consider these principles in relation to any issues in our own lives or in the world around us where we believe that it's time to foster change and transformation. You might see a situation in terms of social concerns or political concerns or environmental concerns. And you may see people who are out protesting a situation that they perceive as negative or troublesome. And it's perhaps useful to bring some attention to the existence of some problem or challenge. But if we continue to just keep focusing on stating the problem or stating the challenge, then our energy can kind of get misdirected. It can just kind of feed into that state of affairs, into a repetition of those patterns or problems, rather than the energy being harnessed or directed into the solutions. So you'll want to educate yourself and gain some clear ideas in your consciousness about what would actually be valid solutions. Build some clarity about the solutions or the things you wish to create and manifest that would replace or change the undesirable circumstances or situations. It's easy to get a lot of energy and emotion built up toward protesting or demonstrating about a problem, about something you don't like, but just be aware of how that's affecting the flow of energy and what's going to manifest. We attract from our state of vibration. So if we're in that state of resistance and judgment and criticism and complaining from that type of energy, then we're going to foster or co-create more of those very things that we're complaining about or that we're feeling unhappy or unpleasant with. So shift the energy, shift your own vibrational state toward feeling energized and enthusiastic about the desirable reality that you wish to create. Let that vibration be emanating from you so that it will attract or bring into your reality those desired circumstances. This is a very critical point to understand for anyone who's looking to create change or transformation, whether it's just for your personal life or if it's for some broader collective group or movement that would like to foster change in the world around them. Each one of us is a co-creative being. We're radiating energy in every moment. That energy is governed or filtered through our consciousness. So our thoughts, our beliefs, our feelings and emotions are what are affecting the frequencies that are being put out. And those frequencies work through the process we call the law of attraction. Like energy attracts like energy. So whatever belief you're projecting and radiating will help reflect back to you something that in some way matches with that belief. So be careful of what you're thinking and believing, what you're feeling, what you're emanating, because that is very much influencing what creation is reflecting back to you. I hope that this short presentation has given each of you some insight into the process of creation and manifestation, into these fairly basic and simple metaphysical principles of attraction and intention and manifestation. And if you're interested in these topics, you're welcome to visit my website, phinsights.com, where I have some references for other spiritual resources. You can watch some more of my YouTube videos on these topics. There's also a book I've published which focuses a lot on the most basic metaphysical principles. It's called Consciousness, Creation, and Existence, A Guide to the Grand Adventure. You'll find that on Amazon.com. For now, I'd like to wish everyone a wonderful day. Namaste.